than us.
Yeah. All right, hi guys, welcome back to Library of Alexandria. It's 10 minutes late, but nobody cares because nobody's watching. So, for the very few KJ Parker fans out there, it's good for y'all.
Mike, hi Mike.
Yes, Mindlin is the man. And anybody else who read this book with us, this is our discussion of Colors and Steel, which is the first book in the Fencer trilogy, which is KJ Parker's first novel, let alone series. So I think, Pete, has anybody here read any other of his trilogies other than Engineer? Anybody here read the Stupid? Okay, good. So yeah, so last year
we've both read bits and pieces of Savis Korvac. So I've read the first two books.
Oh, okay. Sorry, forgot about that.
Nathan, you read the entire trilogy, didn't you?
Yeah. So I completely forget that I've read Savis Korvac. So I have read of his trilogies. I have read Savis Korvac. I've read none of the Siege trilogy, which seems to be the one that everyone's read. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, I read this." I'm like, I cannot comment on it because I haven't read it. And last year we all read the Engineer trilogy, which was tremendous. Like, I don't know. I'm abandoning my quest to try to get people to read KJ Parker because it doesn't matter what I say. So
we must take up.
Really, you have us three. So
yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like, if people like, I don't know. It just, guys, it makes y'all phonies. Like when y'all sit here and talk about like your thematic crap that you like so much, and you won't read this stuff. Like Parker's crap. There's a lot of the same stuff. Like, I'll give you that, but there's a lot of thematic stuff. And the Engineering trilogy just does some stuff that I've never seen in any other fiction, which is really, really good. I did not enjoy the ending, but that's just because I thought it should have been different. But it was fine. Like Pete liked it. Pete, you liked the ending, right?
Yeah, I really liked the ending. I think it worked.
I really liked the ending. I will say that I think this discussion is going to kill what inkling of possibility others might have with reading KJ Parker.
No, people will just use that as an excuse.
Like, let's shout out Tori, who has the company in the mail right now if she hasn't received.
Hold on, right here, Tori. Let's give a shout out to the good folks here. So thank you, Tori. Look at this. There we go. Tori's a loyalist. I like that. No, Tori will forge her own path. But yeah, Engineer trilogy is great. I like it significantly more than Savis Korvac, though I have started the second book and it feels like Savis Korvac in parts where I'm just like, I don't know. You'll know it like in chapter 2. I'm just like, what's going on? Oh, Purple and Black. Okay. So Purple and Black is one of the best novellas I've read. Like it's so good. I've read it 3 times now. It's really good. At any rate, yeah. What's your hand raised, Anita?
My favorite trilogy is Savis Korvac. Actually, I will not
more than the Engineer.
Definitely.
Name one character in Savis Korvac that isn't Savis Korvac. Name one.
What is that girl's name? Dorashia. I like that girl. Finally,
okay. What's her name?
Dorashia.
All right. Now name one character besides Ziani in the Engineer trilogy.
Oh my god, I can't remember.
There's no way, Anita.
I know. Marcus. That guy's not Marcus. What is that guy's name? Duke guy. Not Duke guy. The other guy who end up as Duke of that.
Okay. Well, look, I know. Was it I don't know his name. Vander? It's not Vander.
Duke V. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's Duke V and then Duke O.
I remember Beatrice. Beatrice.
There we go.
Okay, but also remember Mir. Was it Mir Dukas?
Oh.
Mir Dukas. Yeah.
Mir Dukas,
and also Gase Dorenja.
Oh my god.
Well, Anita's a fake fan. Anyway, I disagree with Anita on Savis Korvac, but I like his third person work better than his first person work, and I think that remains here. Regardless,
so I'm going to make a claim about Savis Korvac. There is more of the principle in Savis Korvac than we have seen in this book so far. and I will back
That's
up
not
that
true.
claim later.
That's not
I
true. And
will.
you want to know why?
It's not stated, but it happens.
Let me explain to you why it's not true. Because not a single weapon breaks, and no one's head hurts.
That's not what it
And
is.
and if I see one more weapon break or one more person have a headache without them explaining to me what the flip is going on, I'm going to lose it. Oh, and so anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about this book. So it doesn't take 100 years. But I mean, this is the Parker crew, and this coming year we will be reading.
Scavenger trilogy.
Scavenger. I didn't realize that I will also be reading a second Parker trilogy next year, because that frickin' his new series that didn't even have a flipping name comes out in July. So the first book comes out in July. I'm hoping I get an arc of it, like I did the Cyrus Corax ones. But I mean, I'll be reading that one also, just because.
Is the entire trilogy coming out next year?
I
Or is it
think
just the
so.
first one?
I think it's doing a Cyrus Corax. I think it's July, August, September. I think. I could look it up. New KJ
I'm gonna toss
Parker.
those on my list once I get out of here.
Do what?
I gotta toss those on my list then. See if I can get those immediately.
Yeah, let me look right now. KJ Parker's book number 1. Where's the new KJ Parker book number 2? Here we go.
Number 2.
So that's in July.
So
And
we'll
then-
probably get an. When did we get a name for Cyrus Corax? Because I remember, like at the beginning of the
Long
year.
before, like I don't like
Yeah.
before now. I thought I don't know.
Hey, it's Wizard.
Oh, new
So
KJ.
while you're looking that up,
Yeah.
um,
Oh no, I lied. July for book 1, February
Oh wow,
6 for book 2.
that's amazing that they're doing that.
Considering I think he's written all 3 of them already.
He probably has.
I mean, I know he has.
So that if it's the same publisher that did Cyrus Corax,
It's
that
Orbit.
means that means that they're just like, hey, Cyrus Corax didn't sell super well, so we're gonna split it up.
Yeah. Regardless. Okay.
That's
Well, then
fine.
I won't read any of the trilogy. I'll be reading. What's up, Andrew? I'll be reading. Anyway, I'll just be reading that book one. So we can all read it if y'all if we want. Like, we can all
Yes.
just try to get the arc and read.
Yes.
Anyway. We're reading Scavenger. This is the Parker crew. One day the Parker crew will be larger. But I want to give a shout out to Mindlin, who read this alongside us, and I think is reading the second book with us too.
There he is.
And also 2 more people read it.
Robin.
Robin and Nick. They both read it.
Very cool. Very cool. So shout out to them. I should have waited till after this because it has book 2 as colored. What I've read in book 2, I've read about 20% into book 2, maybe a little farther. And that will kind of affects this just because, there is some stuff where it's just like, what? And I'm like, oh, okay. But regardless, let's go ahead and talk about our initial feelings about it. So Colors and Steel, I think it's very obvious that it's Parker's first work. A lot of the stuff that he that we see in his later stuff, like Kyle's big complaint is like, well, all of his books are the same. He's read one trilogy and then one other book, so they're not all the same, but there are similar elements in a lot of them. Especially, I think there's especially a lot in the first person works. I think Color and Steel feels a lot like Savages, which none of you guys have read, because there's a siege in Savages. It's the Savages versus the city people. So I think there's a lot of elements of that in this book, which we can talk about more when y'all read it, and I can. Oh my gosh. Mitch.
So we're here to talk about magic systems, guys. Let's talk about some ingredients.
We will talk about magic systems. So there is a lot of the similar themes, like revenge is a theme that's in, I think that's in most of, Pete's gonna talk about that. That's a theme that's in most of Parker's books, right? Like,
I mean, isn't it a theme in most books?
I mean, sure, but I think Parker, that's a driving motivation for a lot of characters. Like, so Engineer trilogy, it's there. Cyrus Corax, I don't know, but the hammer certainly. Folding knife, not Basso, but other characters. The Company.
A lot of his short stories.
A lot of the short stories for sure. The Company slightly less so, but it is there. Sharps, Yeah, it's there. So it's not always a primary motivation, but it certainly is in engineer trilogy. There's too much magic in this. My overall thought is there's too much magic in this, and about halfway through this book, I don't know what this book's about, other than Pete is who's going to say revenge. Because
It's true.
okay, because this book should not this series should not be called the Fencer trilogy, because
Everybody wants revenge on Loredon.
the back of this book does not tell you what this book's about. It has almost nothing to do with Lorenon being a fencer at law. Almost nothing.
Okay. I mean, fair.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, the book makes it seem like it is more about him as a fencer at law than it is, and it's not.
Why would you trust the back of the book?
Because generally,
To be
Books
fair,
that-
the Engineer trilogy also makes it seem like Ziana is gonna go on this like weird thing, and it's
Oh,
misleading.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah,
That is true. No, you're right.
I find it very hard to believe that they read the book at all. You know, they just were like, hey, let me give you some summaries of whatever.
You're absolutely right. Like, you're absolutely right. You're right. It's philosophy as oh my.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, Robin. I'm gonna go ahead and be Niesa and be like, you can say whatever you want. It's magic. So how about that one? but it's magic though.
Yeah. Absolutely magic.
So there's too much magic in this is my big complaint, and I also don't like where some of it went. Like when we got to the magic stuff, and here's the problem: headaches, weapons breaking, like talking about naturals in the principle and the philosophy. That is where I feel like it goes off. The wheels come off the bus for me, and I just have a really hard time following it. And I was trying to describe it to Christina. It's like when she's reading poetry to me and I can't get it. Like, I see the pieces in the air and I'm trying to grab them, but it takes so much focus to even grab two pieces. But like, I grab another one and this one slips away, and I'm just like, I can't quite grasp what's going on. Now, when we're talking about the siege stuff and preparing for the siege and the revenge, like the all-consuming revenge that Temrai has for needing to pay Loredan back, even though he doesn't really even, he didn't really even want to. It's kind of something he has to do at this point. Like, I'm there for that. All of that I get. I don't understand the purpose of the suits. I don't understand why we had to sit there and watch all that. Only for, this is gonna be spoilers. Only for what happens with her at the, like, what are we doing? So Gorgas Loredan showing up out of nowhere. I don't understand.
Look, he was sleeping with the other chick early on in the book.
Who? Beatrice?
Yeah.
Not Beatrice. What's her name? Beatrice?
That has no correlation
Yeah.
to the story. I mean, at
It was
least for now.
foreshadowing.
Regardless. Anyway, I think this is my least favorite Parker novel that I've read. Because while Sharps is boring, I at least understood Sharps. So I think part of this is I just there's a lot of part I didn't understand about what's going on. There's about a third of this book that I didn't understand, and I didn't even understand the end. Like, I'm like, is it all a dream at the end? Like, what? But it's not. But it's just like, what? So this is probably my least favorite Parker novel. Now, I like it better than a bunch of novellas, but I think this is my least favorite Parker novel so far. But that's my overall thoughts. Sorry, that was way too long, Pete. Just general thoughts. I went way too specific. And if I am like this and I'm talking, I'm eating wings, but no one needs to see me eat all these freaking wings on camera.
Denying the people what they want.
No one came for the ASMR Alan eating wings thing.
Bring us the mukbang.
The what?
Mukbang.
I don't know what that is.
That's eating videos. People.
Oh,
eat
yuck. Pete, what you think of this
segmented
book?
piece of food.
Pete liked this book better than me.
I did like this book. I do think this was probably the messiest Parker book I have read, and part of that,
Messy.
it was messy. One, because it was his first book, of course, as like KJ Parker. But I also felt like I definitely kind of like felt the structure of like how he was building it out. Right, I really liked that it was centered around Loredan, but in this like crazy convoluted way. Like everybody was like spokes of a wheel, except for those two traitor people, and they were just like in between the spokes. They were, I don't know what was going on with them. He just like threw them in there, like, I want to have twins, and one of them is a magic person. Um, yeah, I thought this book was really interesting because it was so messy. Because it was like, yeah, it was just fun to like wrap my head around and try to figure it out as like a puzzle sort of thing. Even though, is there an answer to the question of, is it about revenge? Is it not about revenge? I do think it is about revenge, and that just tends to be like the theme that KJ Parker really likes to hammer home, because
Yeah.
he likes it when people do wrong things
Hammer
to each other and
it.
hold grudges.
Yeah, he also, I mean, he
Mhm.
also is one of the best at, and this is what frustrates me when people want to, yeah, it's graveyard bait. It's not like, jail bait, where if he goes after her, he'll end up in jail because she's young. It's like, if he goes after her, she will kill him and he will be dead. Um, but I think Parker is one of the best at just showing the regular human depravity, like how bad people are when not, like just how bad people can be. Um,
Especially within family, between siblings or between lovers, how love can ruin each other.
that's a big theme in
Mhm.
Engineer.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
feel like
like
you have like the base, like little bits and pieces of that in this one, like a
Yeah.
lot of like
I
core
don't like
themes that he eventually does
Parker does
explicitly
not
bring.
have mustache twirling like bad villains. Like all the people who love morally gray characters, quote unquote, all caps, like all of his characters are like people. They're just they tend to be unfettered by ethics. Like seriously, it's
Yeah.
like they have their own moral code, but it's an extremely narcissistic moral code where, like I'm gonna murder an entire village, but it's to protect my family and my family's interests. And it's like, you're a horrible sociopath.
I'm gonna
But I mean,
murder, over 1 million people through this war in order to get back with my hot wife.
oh my gosh.
Ziani Stan all the
Oh
way,
my
baby.
gosh. Like it's just like I just think Parker does it so well. And I think that's why the folding knife is the least bleak, because I think Basso is the least terrible of the protagonists in these books that we have. Duke Orsino, I think
Hmm.
that's his name. Like he was great, like in Engineer, but I mean, we saw what happened to him. So it just doesn't pay to have morals or scruples in a Parker
It's
book.
like Game of Thrones. Nice people can survive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Anita, what are your general thoughts?
Okay, it's very difficult to say. I struggled with reading Engineer Trilogy because it is difficult to be in Gianni's POV. I hated him, but so I did have a better experience reading this book compared to Engineer Trilogy. At the same time, I can clearly see that this is Parker's book. The way he wrote the exposition, I did not mind that, but I can clearly see that. And I do have a couple of problems with this. I will talk about it when we get into it. But overall, I did not mind the first book actually not having any clues. Like we don't know anything about principle and what is going on. But in second book, as long as it ties up neatly in book two and book three, if we get answers for everything, for principle and even for weapons breaking everything. I'll not have any problem. But if we don't get problems, then I'll have problems.
Evie?
I liked this book. I actually really liked it. It's not my favorite Parker work, but of course I haven't read nearly as much Parker as you guys, but I can already see the seeds that it's like he throws all of his eggs in one basket. He plants all the seeds here, but then you see him play more with them individually and in more detail. in other works. So this seems like, I don't want to say shallow, because that makes it sound bad, but it's much more surface level.
Yeah.
And even like the scope of it, like it's very broad, but
One second,
there's also no idea of like, is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 months? Like what's the actual passage of time?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Beps, who Beps read the book as well.
Yeah. Shout out to Beps.
So-
We'll get to that in just a second, Beps, once we start talking more specifically.
But yeah, so I just kind of went with the flow, and I was enjoying myself. I didn't mind the lack of context or explanation of the principle. I was just fascinated by it. Actually, the things that I marked, I mean, among the many things that I marked, I really liked the dream sequences, which is part of the principle. But character-wise, I liked that it starts with a fencing scene, because it really sets the, not just necessarily the tone, but it just kind of sets up the world in a really interesting way. And Bordas Loredan's character really well.
Yeah. I am so
thank you.
Yeah. I think this book does I think Devices and Desires is a more complete book one than Colors and Steel is. Like Devices and Desires, like I felt like, okay, I have the end to this first part, and a clear next thing that's going to happen. And I guess, with the burning down of the city in this book, I guess that counts. But I just don't know what's going on or why. Like so my favorite parts of the book are Bardas v. Temrai. Like, I'm okay with Bardas trying to defend the city. It doesn't work. And he has to pay the price for it, even though it did work, but too many people died. So he has to pay the incompetent military thing. Totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with the savages learning the ways of civilized people and turning it against them. For those of you who don't know, in this one, Parker's hyper focus is the construction of siege equipment. Yeah. You will learn how to construct. Like, you could go build a catapult right now.
I could. If I knew how to chop down a tree.
He focuses. Oh my God. We've got to the point. Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and Pete can back me up on this. If you really like the detailed descriptions of going through the siege equipment and building it, Kinlu's going to be your jam in Dandelion Dynasty, because he does the same thing.
Okay.
But I feel like in a more interesting way. But with that said, the scene where Temrai is building the trebuchet thing, and then goes through this multi-page long description, I'm like, all right, this is boring, and this is going to be useless in about 2 paragraphs. And 3 paragraphs later, boom, it gets destroyed. And I'm like, go figure. But I wasn't mad about it. I'm like, that's Parker. So
that is awesome, Beps. That is awesome.
Can you post those in the Discord, Beps?
Yeah,
that would be
please
great.
Do. That's awesome.
And keep doing that too.
So this is the construction of siege equipment I do not care about. Like, I am with him when it comes to the logistics of military. Like in Savages, I'm with it with the banking system, economics. I'm even within the construction of a factory, like in The Hammer, or like the building of a. I care more about forging swords. Like, I'm okay with the sword forging part. The siege equipment thing went on too long. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Can we just build it? But I do like the confrontation at the end with Temrai and Loredan, where Temrai is just first of all, gets wrecked by Loredan, absolutely wrecked. And just this, Bardas Loredan for Temrai is the bogeyman. Like, he's the big bad that he's heard from, his dad, right? It's his dad, right? Or was his granddad killed?
He also witnessed burning down the village, hiding under the cart.
Yeah.
Bardus is the one who literally saved him from burning alive.
Yes, but who did he hear? Like, I don't know who was chieftain at the time. Was it his dad or was it his
Dad,
it was his
dad.
Okay. But all I want for Christmas is a trebuchet. Yeah, completely agree, y'all. But like, Bardus is where he says like there is no world in which Bardus does not like destroy him, that which Bardus can be beaten. Like the end description, I have it highlighted in my Kindle, where Timrai is actually afraid of Lordan. Like, he's been covering, his absolute raw terror of this, this unbeatable monster that he's held on for so long. I love that. And I think it is foolish that Lordan does not kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he thinks he's going to break the cycle of revenge. I mean, maybe in a book that isn't a Parker book. Like, does anyone here think that Timrai's going to be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll leave him be? I mean, I don't.
Comes back in book 3 with another army of horsemen.
Oh,
I think it's a matter of survival. If he hurts Temrai, the other people will shoot him. His army is right there.
Mhm.
So I think that's why he did not kill him.
But yeah, so the Lordan, the reluctant, the thing that I do like about Parker's characters, I like the reluctant person. Like, Lourdes does not want to do this, but he's the only one that can. And that's like the Scarab Path talks about that. It's like when you don't have a hero available, like, someone's got to step in the gap and play the role, whether you are or not. And unfortunately, that's got to be Lordan.
Yeah. I think the one thing I liked about Lordan stepping up is like his competence with that. I think Parker really is really good at writing competent characters, even if they're thrust into unfamiliar situations. And I really and this is like one of those moments where it's just like, wow, we're dealing with competent people. And Temrai isn't just like, oh, I know how to build a siege engine, and then I'm also going to be kind of really bad at it because I've never done this before. Yeah. No, he studies up and he's good at building these siege engines.
That's why that's my favorite part of the book between the two of them, because both of them win at parts. Like, like Lordan absolutely causes setbacks for the tribes when they block the river and blast.
The tribes were the ones that blocked the river, and they unblocked the river and then destroyed the rafts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. The back and forth was great, which is why it irritates me more that the victory over the city didn't have to do with either Temrai or Lordan. Like, no one lost it. It was betrayed from the inside, which is just irritating. From Gorgas, who comes kind of out of nowhere and has the most plot armor that he can walk through. Wow. He can talk to everybody without being hurt or whatever. So anyway,
you're cutting into my talk.
Sorry, the Lordan. I'm finishing this so I can go flip these wings and eat while you guys talk. But the Lordan Temrai stuff and the revenge and their back and forth, savages versus the civilized city, was my favorite part. I think that's the part I enjoyed the most. And then, what are the other parts? We have the merchant couple. We have
Alexius and Gennadius, two friends.
Yeah, Alexius and Gennarius, and then we have Itsuits and her pursuit for revenge. Those are the other parts, but my favorite parts were Loris and Air Fryer Wing Sal, and they are so good. Anyway,
I think that in regards to the Bardos and Timrai, the city versus the savages / tribes, one aspect that I really, really oddly liked, I didn't expect to like, is that Timrai, he doesn't use, I'm probably using this word wrong, but subterfuge or whatever that word is, to learn about the city. Like, he's like, all you have to do is ask. And he tells it, I think it's his dad. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, can't you just like, he's like 12 or something. He's like, oh, why don't you just be nice and ask and see if that works? And he proves his point.
Yeah.
He just asks, and people will give him whatever information he wants.
Yeah. Because
Right.
like they're like, okay.
The whole plot point of just like, yeah, so they know how you could like go after the city and enter the city by normal siege tactics, and they literally have a book about it that they've forgotten about.
Yeah.
That was so funny to me.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
I also like the, how Parker wrote politics, how irritating they are. At the same time, it was surprising that both of those leaders fought till the end and died defending the city, which I did not expect. I thought they're politicians and leaders of the city, and they'll run away once they storm the city. I did not expect those people to defend the city, actually, which was very surprising. And one of my coming back to Barda's point of view, I really liked how Barda's and Alexia's friendship developed, actually. They found mutual respect, and those scenes were I really enjoyed reading those scenes, especially Alexius. Alexius is one of my favorite characters.
I was gonna say, as an aside, Alexius being like, "Listen, I need to be in this dark room with no windows where no one can disrupt me, so I can concentrate." And I'm like, I feel that to my corest of cores. So,
And one of the reasons why sometimes whiny, reluctant heroes don't work for me. Great Hunt, for example. Oh my god, I hated Rand in that because he was so whiny, because he supposed to be a hero. But this worked because though Bardas doesn't like being in that position, he was competent, first of all, and he doesn't cry about it. When he was doing his job, he was very focused. He knows what needs to be done, and he does that.
He doesn't self-sabotage.
Yeah.
In that way. I mean, he arguably, you could argue he self-sabotages in other ways, but that's different.
and he does things that arguably, did he know that last act of, using the
Principle.
bombs or whatever,
Oh.
to the fire.
Wildfire.
Wildfire. Yeah, there you go. Did he know that was gonna like be like essentially like a war crime by the city, but he did it anyways? But he's just like, he wasn't gonna excuse himself. He was like, no, I did what I had to do.
I don't think, at least I did not see, he did not consider the consequences of that. His only focus was defending the city, and he thought he was doing right by the city, right by his job, actually. He did not even consider the politics perspective of that.
He didn't even know at that point either. He had no idea about like the politics of, I think maybe there was one comment from Alexius about like, yeah, you were the least bad person that both sides like could agree on, quote unquote. But I think outside of that, he had no knowledge of what was going on politics wise.
Who? Sorry, I had to go put the baby sleep.
Bardis, when he did the whole napalm thing and then got fired.
Oh,
fired because it's napalm.
So stupid.
That was another, I think, funny moment for me of them just being like, we don't like the way you're doing this. Also, I think that the other guy was like, I can do it better. So they fired him for
that's one thing that I like that Parker does really well, and he does this again, I think, better in the Engineer trilogy, where bureaucracy gets in the way of efficiency. Like Parker's really good at writing to where it's like, hey, so that napalm, that worked really well. In fact, that's worked the best of anything we've done so far. But some people don't like that, and that's just how the political thing is. The faction that doesn't like that is, has too much influence. So you're going to have to go to jail for that, basically. But thanks for the good it did. We approve of that, but we can't publicly approve of that. And it's just bureaucracy.
And Bardis's reaction of, I finally get a full meal and a full night's rest? Heck yeah!
Yeah, it's like, okay, like I'll go to jail. That's fine. Yeah.
Some
To
things
answer
will
your
tell me.
question, Sal, I took notes as I read, thinking maybe it'll help me. I can't read my writing apparently. So,
Okay, can we talk about issues? Issues?
Okay.
figure
The-
eight.
So
The girl that I forgot that her name was even mentioned in the very first
yeah,
chapter.
freaking Pete is trying to make her all like she's trying to make every female that appeared was Issues from the first one, from the
Yeah.
very beginning for Pete.
They only referred to her as the girl the
After
entire
she
time,
says her
except
name
for
to
that one
Alexius.
time.
She
So it
says her name
gaslit
to
me.
Alexius.
It gaslit me into thinking that we had not seen her name and he was trying to do something tricky.
No. No.
Anyway,
So my
Female
short thing
writer
before Anita
by
rants, it is dumb that she does all of that only to get her fingers cut off for no reason.
I mean,
It's the principle.
it's
Okay.
How, Pete? Sorry. Go ahead, Anita.
okay, I am saving up this rant from long time. Okay, I'll try to talk about this without spoilers of Engineer Trilogy, but Parker did this with Doranja's character too. Before we even see Doranja's flashback and what he did, why he's creep, Parker already told us he's such a creep. At least in Engineer Trilogy, the way Doranja interacted with Gianni and how he behaved, we can at least see why he's creep. And I was like, though I did not like Parker telling me what to think about this character, I could see it. But in this book, I
Look,
could
Dorinda's one
not.
of the best characters in fantasy.
I
Say
know.
that
I agree. One of the most complicated characters, one of
sure.
the fascinating
The
characters.
fact that you and I like him after what he has done, like, almost makes me feel bad as a person. But he's just such a good character.
this is why I'm the better KJ Parker fan because I
Shut
like
up.
Ziani much better.
What Ziani did is not better than what Dorinda did.
See what? Okay, I don't want
Anyway,
to say
sorry, Anita,
spoilers.
go ahead.
Okay, but in this one, see, I understand when Alexius called her graveyard bait. It totally makes sense to me because she came to ask for him to put the curse on. Pete, for your question, this one you said you don't remember the graveyard, right?
Way to calm
So,
me down. Thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate it. So I didn't read
is
the first
that
scene
girl
again.
actually when she was 15 she met Alexius, she asked him to put a curse on Bardas. Alexius could have said no actually, but he did not. He tried to meddle with the Warden's life and he
Why?
used principle. Yes, I am thinking actually there is a reason for that. Principal reason, like some higher powerful natural, maybe the sister could have influenced it. If not,
No,
that
he's
is
just stupid.
we don't know that yet. So far, at least in this book, he's just stupid. So he's pissed off himself, he can't do anything about that. So him calling her graveyard bite, I totally understand. And if Bardas or Gennadius, their entire lives are disturbed because of that girl, so them calling her wretched girl or something like that, that also I totally understand. But once she starts her career actually after her first fight, Atli, Barda's
the
assistant,
secretary.
that clerk girl, she goes to meet her in that pub actually. She, after talking, she was like, we get this, like, Atlee can't stay there anymore. She's revolting. I mean, the way Parker telling us to think what to think about her, I don't like it. I like to form my own opinions after reading, after seeing what they did actually. So this makes me feel like, Parker doesn't want us to like the girl. She's going to get worse in next books. And to be honest, first of all, I understand that girl is a hypocrite. What she hated Bardas, she is also doing the same thing. She is also killing people using her profession, to get into the position where she has to fight against Bardas. So she is a hypocrite. Other than that, I understand her revenge part, why she wants to take revenge. Because nobody was nice to her growing up. Only the person who loved her was that uncle. So she was very obsessed with that revenge part. I totally understand. So Parker telling me what to feel about her, that character, I did not like at all. I hated it actually.
The only like, first of all, she has no character, like, at all, like none. Like, the only development she has is what other people think of her. The only scene I liked with the suits is the one where she legit tries to kill Bardis, like, in the school, and where he's like, whoa, and like is able to defend it. And that is right after someone uses the principal, isn't it? Like, Pete, Principal Man.
I don't actually remember that.
How do you not remember that?
I don't remember the scene. I don't remember if it was right after somebody used the principal.
Is it
So,
like,
It
doesn't
was
someone see, like, doesn't someone see
Yeah. I think that. Yeah.
it was
run through?
if I
Yeah, because they were both standing there doing the thing.
Yeah.
yeah, if I recall correctly, there was the principal dream thing where Alexius is trying to test Beatrice, and then she stays back for a little bit more, and I think honestly she
messed with it. Yeah,
she messed
absolutely.
with it. She deferred it.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do we think are the naturals in this book? Is it just Beatrice?
Everybody. So I think the main naturals are Bardis Lordan's sister, who is never on screen,
So
and
Niesa.
Beatrice.
Yes.
Yes.
And who?
And Beatrice.
Beatrice. Beatrice is
Beatrice.
from Engineering Trilogy. This character is Beatrice.
Beatrice.
So
Same difference.
I don't think that's right.
I agree with Alan.
No, I don't think it's Niesa, and I think that's just because I am partway into book 2, and like, I think her first appearance
Rude.
says that's not it. No, I could be wrong. It's
I mean,
not,
I feel like that's where they were pointing to from the very beginning, because the very first mention of the sister is, oh, she's the mystical one.
it could be. I mean, it could be.
Because it was
like,
her. I mean, you could also argue that Gorgas is a natural as well. I think that's actually even a more certain thing.
Yeah, I'd be more willing to believe. I don't know. What do you think, Evie? Y'all are the two principal people. Me and Anita think it's dumb.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead, Pete.
No, go ahead. I was about to launch into the spiel.
I mean, you can. That's totally
Go
fine.
for it. Go for it.
So I was just gonna say that there was a scene towards the end of the book where someone's having a headache, and I think
It's a sign.
Was it Bardas was having a headache, and then like Gorgas shows up or whatever. But there was an unnamed woman there, and the headache goes away when Gorgas shows up. And so I think, like, in my head canon, I don't know if this is it. Like, I think that was Niesa in a dream.
That woman is just someone sitting to watch the duel. Not related to the story. At least that's how I understood.
We don't know
I'm
that
with
it's
you, Anita.
related. I think in my head canon, it's Niesa in a dream who shows up and she affects stuff. Like, she's in her dream state and she's affecting.
Okay. See, it is possible that
But when they're in the
Niesa.
dream state, they affect stuff in a dream. Like, they don't affect stuff like they don't appear IRL.
Yeah. See,
But
it is
maybe
possible
dreams
that
with dreams.
it is possible that Niesa affecting every other person in dream, but this woman has no relation to the story. That person is just watching the duel and making bets with Alexius, and in parallel with Alexius is dreaming. It is possible that it is influenced by Niesa actually, and Gorgas, because of Gorgas, it went away. That I don't know.
So I think it's very possible that KJ Parker pulled an Inception for that scene, and he was actually having two different dreams.
Oh my gosh, this is so dumb.
No.
I hate it.
Oh, I found the note. The woman seated beside Alexius. Sorry, I think I said Bardas. I'm reading between the lines that either she caused the headache and Gorgas abated it, or the other way around.
I remember what you said. You know, even during the discussion, I strongly disagree with that. That's all I can say for now.
Okay. So
Okay,
the
so hold
spiel.
on. No one has read the whole trilogy. Please do not spoil it. I am the only one on this screen who has even progressed into book 2. Well, Anita's in chapter 1. I'm in chapter 6 of book 2. So
I know Robin finished book
yeah,
2.
Robin finished book 2.
Because he's actually on schedule. Thanks,
Yeah.
Robin.
So someone, Evie or Pete, what do the headaches mean, and why do the weapons keep breaking? Because these are the two things. Oh, thank you so much, Bevs. Because these are the two things that if they do not get resolved, I'm going to be irritated because I'm so sick of it happening without any explanation. Why are the weapons breaking, and what do the headaches mean?
So the headaches mean something has been changed,
November.
and they go away when the thing that has been changed, when that event happens, right? So with Gargus, when Gargus pops up, the reason the headache goes away is because they met, and that was the thing that was supposed to happen per the principle, or actually what we should call it is plot convenience, because that's literally what it is. Is it's plot convenience as a magic system. So the principle basically makes somebody's desires happen. So somebody wants something to happen, right? And Gorgas literally says this when the niece, and Bardas basically just both show up out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was just looking for you guys." And this is
Hold
like,
on. Okay, but are the weapons breaking
because of the
because
principle.
something's been changed?
Yeah, a lot of the weapons are breaking because that was the way that the principal changed the scene, basically, right? So that those happened because if you remember at the very beginning when the
It's
traitor,
still November.
the traitor chick Vestres,
Veterans.
she's the one
Isus.
that made the
Isus. Her name is Isus.
No, Veterans.
No,
You're
no.
talking about the traitor.
yeah
Trader.
the twin.
Okay, sorry.
The
My
twin,
English.
the
I
island,
heard
the
traitor.
islander.
Okay.
Sorry, not the traitor, the islander. Remember in that first scene, all of her thoughts, she's a natural. So all of her thoughts, she was like, I think this is going to happen. And then it happened. Like literally every time. She's like, I think the weapon's going to break. And it breaks.
But she clearly thought then, what if that weapon, his sword
Yeah,
breaks?
I thought she was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be
yeah.
cool if that weapon broke?" Like, I thought she
Yeah.
was just like,
did. That's
Yeah.
that's the whole that's the whole natural thing. And the same thing with Gargus. To be, wouldn't it be cool if these two people I was looking for just kind of happened to be here? And they did.
It's the influence aspect, and if she doesn't realize she has this power, like she's OP'd. Like
Yeah.
she's like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if this happened? Boom, it happens, and she doesn't realize, oh, I influenced.
but Veterans isn't there every time.
Nope.
So she cannot be the only person.
But there's other people that are influencing it. Like this is where the Niesa theory comes into play.
Okay,
Niesa is doing
why are Alexis and Gennadius so bad at this?
because they're not naturals. They're kind of just muddling their way through it.
They're so
So,
academic.
They're hilarious,
So,
actually. The way they mess up every time.
They're so bad at it.
I think I tagged Pete on the message of like Alexius, the principal feels like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, the premise of magic in that where it's academic learning the magic versus the like theoretical magic versus practical magic.
It's the wizard versus the sorcerer.
Yeah.
Practical magic with Firuza Bulk and Nev Campbell. And
No, you're thinking Sandra Bullock and Nicole
Sandra
Kidman.
Bullock.
But no, so Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell there's the magicians who just learn via books.
So
And
Alexis,
there's the magicians who actually do magic, like they learn naturally without any like books or whatever, and they actually do magic. And the principal, like in my mind, the way that Alexius and Gennadius or whatever his name is, they study the principles so much and that they are the academics, whereas the naturals are the practicals.
Wizard versus sorcerer.
Yeah.
It is possible that since Alexius know so much about principle and how damaging it could be if something goes wrong, maybe he's holding himself back, whereas naturals are like free flowing without thinking about any consequences, which I am totally adding up to what Evie said. I have no clue.
Why? Okay, well, why did the curse not work, and why is Alexius withering away from it?
Because the way that he does it, the curse kind of backfires. Like especially like how he explains it and how he thinks about it. Basically, the person who changes it has to absorb a little bit of like the weight of possibility or whatever. Master Sal, the reason I say wizard versus sorcerer is that is a trope.
Finish my question and then answer Sal's thing. Wizards read from books and memorize spells. It comes natural for sorcerers. They're dumb. Sorcerers are dumb.
Sorcerers are just like natural athletes.
Sorcerers are dumb.
It's all their parents.
Pete!
Yeah, it's basically just because like that's how part of it's how he perceives the principle, that he's like pushing away the possibilities and then inserting his own into the thing. And then I think part of it also has to do with like the fact that eventually it actually changes. Like he doesn't do it naturally, so he's kind of like trying to twist his way in versus
All
like
right.
the natural. Like,
I want everyone here to message me. In Belly of the Bow, there's an attempted lecture on the principle, and it has to do with different and the same, and product and process. And I read it once and I was tired, and I'm like, I could read this again. I'm not gonna understand it more if I read it like again. So I'm like, you know what? I don't care. So I want you to message me when you get to that lecture, because I think theoretically it might be explaining something. It's Parker, like, just why don't you write stuff that makes sense to normal people who like,
Maybe that's the reason he stopped writing using magic in his
man,
people did not understand.
or he just stopped explaining it, because if you think about Savis Korvax, literally everything is plot convenience for this man. Everything happens exactly the way he wants it to for a lot of things.
You can say that about Basso too, if you want to say that about every character.
This is the defining principle of his work.
Robin, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Lecture near the beginning about different, same process products. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway,
the process is the product of the dismissive product.
Just because we're already almost at an hour, can we just talk about
sure. We can talk about whatever.
I just want to. Mostly, it's about the ending and like how they were supposed to go to. Oh my god, the Traders Island that I'm forgetting the name of.
Skona.
The Islanders.
Skona.
Thank you. But specifically, I don't know why it's stuck in my head, or has stuck in my head, but just the relationship of Alexius, and Gennadius, and then Athley and Bardas, and how they both have this, they want their respective partner to go with them, but they don't go, and then they're both also I don't know, Athley
wants Bardas to come with her, but Gennadius, I mean, at least we did not see on page that he wants Alexius also wants to come with him. Gennadius is like, it came across like he's very selfish. He's happy to escape, actually.
That's because bros don't show emotions.
I thought pretty sure that he wanted Alexius there, but
Engineer Trilogy is probably a better go for non-completionists, Sal.
Yeah, I mean, Engineer Trilogy is my favorite.
Sal, I remember how much you struggled with Hammer, so I'm thinking you will struggle with the Engineer too.
Really? Oh, well then read The Company or Folding Knife.
Or read Cybers Corex. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Cybers Corex is much faster and then read Engineer.
I know you loved the Hammer.
Oh my gosh, Anita!
She struggled with it. I did not say that she'd hated it. I said she.
Have you three read The Company?
Yes, that is my favorite Parker book.
I haven't read it yet.
Anita, you read The Company?
Yes,
When?
Like
long
a
before.
year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, because
before
it was the
Hammer.
only joke for what?
Before Hammer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
Didn't we-
Kunessin a monster?
Yes.
Kunessin is just like one of the most monstrous.
I
Just
completely agree.
and Evie, you've got to read The Company. Like,
You
I
do.
know.
I was telling her from 2 years. She asked me if that she did like 12 books to read in 12 months last year or before that. I gave the company as to
I would be
read.
surprised if The Company was not Evie's favorite.
Yeah, that is like custom made for Evie.
Yeah. It's I think
Well, I'm gonna hate it now. Now that you're saying I'm gonna love it.
So
I'm
good.
not saying that. I'm saying it's good.
Anyways, back to this though.
All right.
I just like
Yes.
the dynamic between Bardas and Athley, or
Me tue.
Yeah.
Athlete.
Bardas clearly cares about her, though he won't express that. Yes.
again, as an aside, and I know I mentioned this before, Athley as a name makes me think of Ashley with a
Athley.
major lisp,
Athley.
and it triggers me to
Athlete.
yeah.
Athlete. Hurry.
Okay. This is very. I don't know what to say about this. There are 3 female characters in this. Both have scene time or page time, but I felt none of them has agency other than Vetris actually. I mean, as Alan said, yes, after everything Isu's done, or what happened at the end, and Athley did not have any agency. I was like, how? I mean, how?
All right.
I can't see how Parker is going to use
So,
those characters
Female
in next week's.
characters in Parker books, they are. I mean, he does not typically write very good female characters. I think we all liked Beatriz for a time until she was just kind of, sidelined and, didn't really have the agency that we thought she was going to have or whatever, or made some dumb decisions or whatever.
I really liked Storasha in Cyrus Corax trilogy. Cyrus Corax trilogy. She is a fantastic character.
This is why Anita likes Cyrus Corax trilogy so much, because it has a female
she's
character.
as much intelligent as Cyrus Corax actually.
Okay, so plenty of them are like that, in like especially as novellas and short stories. There are plenty, and it always starts with her looking up like, "Why are you here? Oh, it's you." That's what they always say. That's always their introduction. There's plenty of those in like the novellas and stuff, but in the novels, not quite so much. Niessa in book 2, I think, is going to be one. I think, I don't know. Oh, can we talk about why on earth Niessa would be angrier at Bardas than at?
Oh my god, that is
than at
so
Gorgas?
stupid. I think. Okay, Gorgas said that.
Gorgas set her up to be assaulted, and then murdered her fiance and their dad,
husband and dad, and because of that
Did she
everything
know?
started. I
Yes,
think Gorgas told us this. We don't know whether he can be trusted, but one thing is, he said they both are more close while growing up because they are the first 2 kids. And another thing is, Gorgas actually sought her out and helped her, at least setting up the business. Maybe because of that she forgave him, whereas Bardas and the other 2 brothers, they are the reason she had to run away from home, because they made her life difficult, maybe because of that.
Also,
But it is stupid for me. She should kill Gorgas. That is at least my take.
didn't like Bardas just run away when he found out she was pregnant? Like get mad and run away, basically.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. Like he found out she was pregnant. He was like, I can't deal with this.
And then they have 2 other brothers that are morons, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Whatever. I guess we'll find out more.
I mean, I don't know what this says about me, but it frustrated me even more. The descriptions of Beatrice, like her description. Well, it's alluded that she thinks of herself as a quote unquote. Can I say this, or will you get demonetized?
I know what your
What?
SLUT heard.
Yeah, Yeah,
Huh.
she refers to herself as that because she sleeps with Gorgas.
As a what? A hoe?
No, it's a.
See, that's why I hated actually the
Oh, I forgot
entire
Gorgas.
flashback scene. How Parker told us the story. He keeps saying, at least, I mean, we cannot trust Gorgas, and we got this story from Gorgas's POV. He keeps saying his sister is not that great person, so you don't need to worry about, you don't need to show that much concern, as if that she's a bad person, so it's okay that she gets assaulted. So the overall tone was maintained like that. I hated that, the entire flashback scene. That's when I
Isn't
started
it her brother that
hating this
calls her
book.
this though? Isn't it like
No, she calls herself that. I thought.
No,
Yeah.
Beatrice calls herself, I behaved like that.
So to your point, Anita, I think
why is
I think
Gorgas there sleeping with her?
No, I think she
Foreshadowing.
approached him. I
Oh
think
my
he
God,
was
we're
drunk
done.
first of all,
Yeah,
and
we're
she
done with this
approached him because she just met his brother. She's fascinated with the
Look at
siblings.
how much we are talking about things that shouldn't be relevant. This book should be like almost didn't talk about Temrai at all, and he's supposed to be the primary
Old Temrai.
or secondary
well, we
protagonist.
did talk about the siege, but to
Yeah, I know.
Anita's point though, I think because the way that we get Niessa's backstory, it's not from her perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's why I felt a little more distance and less outrage, as opposed to Beatrice's Beatrice's.
Beatrice, yeah.
I
character.
get your point. I get your
All right,
I think
well-
it's possible that some of the details of that story could be wrong.
We'll see. So with that, go ahead.
So no, I was just gonna say, the whole thing being that Graveyard Bait is Bardas's niece. Like, I'm like, this is freaking Shakespearean. Like, of course this happened. I like normally that would be like, oh, that's plot convenience. Oh my god! But the way Parker does it, I'm like, give me more, please.
Yeah.
I need more from that story.
when Bardas said, like, everyone, what is her name? I keep forgetting it. I was like, okay, this somehow ties to the plot. I expected it actually. Somehow this person is related to this forgetting name thing.
Yeah, we'll see. So, at an hour, we're going to end this discussion because, as we can see, this book is about revenge and not really anything else yet. So, let's see how the picture looks when the series is done. Hopefully, we can comment on a lot of this stuff after we finish book 2.
We'll make sure to prioritize talking about Timrai next time, right?
If we see Tim,
he's not even going to show up.
Like, I don't know if Tim Ryan's even going to be in book 2. I have no idea.
He's too dejected.
So,
I mean, to be fair, the title of the second book, Belly of the Bow, was from his perspective.
But
that's true.
Lord
But
Bardas is in Skona. We are in Skona. So we
yes,
know.
Bardas is in Skona making bows. That's why it's called the Belly of the Bow. He's a bowyer currently.
Wait, are the islands called Skona or Skona? I thought Skona was a completely different city, and then the
I
island.
need y'all. No. The island is not on Skona. Skona is not on the island. Skona. I need y'all to figure out the geography because there's 2 cities, Scatha and Skona, and I think they're on the same island, separated by a strait. So maybe it's 2 islands. Anyway, y'all need to figure out the geography. I think that's what's happening in this book.
Pete, this is why you should take time to read. Otherwise, you keep forgetting details like it.
Look, I don't have a wiki to go to.
Look,
Anyway.
regardless, we should read Anita. Start book 2. Read
Yes.
some tonight.
Yes,
Because
boss.
Evie and Pete get to start on Friday. Pete's waiting till Wednesday, but Evie gets to start
Not
on Friday.
Friday. At least Sunday. Give me until Sunday.
No.
Alan, why are you so hard on me?
Because it's the 5 days. Because they have to start in November. We can't have people starting in December. Like
I'm starting in December.
Well, so, all right, get good.
You have to do it, Anita.
I'm gonna keep reading, and try to make some progress and get some answers. Book 2's fine so far, but I swear, if I see another weapon break or use that freaking principle without them explaining it to me, I'm pissed. So, all right. Well, you guys, thank you for coming. All of you people who have joined us in reading. We are few.
I'm glad we could finally do this.
Yeah, we are few but mighty. And you know what? All the people not reading Parker, I mean, they're the ones missing out. This one, not so much, but like his stuff, it's a lot of, you know, like it's a lot of really good thematic content, I think, especially about like the, you know, the ills of mankind. So y'all stay tuned and we'll talk about Belly the Bow at some point. Yeah.
Hopefully in the second week.
Yeah, first we got to finish it though. So, all right. So good night, everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.